In today's tutorial, we are going to paint this casual, loose, suggestive landscapes. Hi friends, I am Vanidas Mangathil and let us learn watercolors together. I am using a cold pressed watercolor paper and the size of the paper is around A4. It's a 300 GSM cold pressed paper. Let us make a very casual sort of a drawing, something at a very far distance. Maybe it is there are some foliages or some mountains or something. And in the focal element, let us make maybe one or two small houses. Okay. It is again, these are from imagination and there is no reference as such. So we will be making some very casual drawings and we might make some changes going forward, right? So these are just some initial ideas and let us proceed with this idea, okay? So, and this is the area where I am trying to make the focal element, the focal area, and yeah, just some quick scribblings, not too much precise drawings. Maybe let us make some couple of figures here. These figures are very tiny because you can see the houses behind is very small. So the figures also will be very small. Okay, these are very tiny figures. This looks good to me and I don't want to make it very complex. See, the idea is to just paint it very casually and without worrying too much about the details. And let us practice to be bold and to be casual. That is the overall idea. And I'm adding the sky. It's a kind of a slightly grey blue kind of a color. So I have used a little bit of cobalt blue and a touch of burnt umber. And cobalt blue. I have mixed it together and I am applying that as a sky. So I am making some darker versions of the sky color now. I am adding cobalt blue and burnt umber. Okay, little more grayish, and I am suggesting the far end foliages using this particular color. It is very close to the sky color, so that there is a sense of distance. Okay, so it is not very bright in color, very dark in color, almost very close to the sky. Okay, so I am using a mop brush, a synthetic mop brush for this, and for most of the bigger brush works, I use a mop brush. And for the details, I use small round brushes. Okay, the precise brand and size may not matter much. And I think this particular mop brush is from a brand called Stationery, an Indian brand. But I will keep switching the brushes as we proceed. I'm adding some touches of darker tones here and there so that they will kind of softly suggest some texture or some kind of a tone variation, so that they may suggest something at the far distance. There will be some kind of tone variations. It could be some suggestion for trees or something. Okay, now let us make a little bit more warmer and dark green kind of a color for something nearby. Okay, maybe there is a nearby hill or mountain or something, nearby vegetation, for example, and let us make it more thicker, more thicker because it shouldn't spread too much in the background. Okay, because this is something which is in the nearby distance. Okay, not very far away. So that these kind of tone and color variation, I am expecting it to suggest the sense of depth or distance. Okay, when it reaches around the houses, the roofs, etc., so I am little careful. I am using the tip of the brush to sort of being little precise when it comes to the focal element. Okay, so see, when I am slowing down during my painting, it is usually I slow down when I am thinking. Okay, so some decisions we may have to take on the fly, and we may have to think sometimes. So when I think in the background, my process goes a little slow, and I might take little bit more time for the brushworks. That is, as I told, mainly because I'm also thinking in the background. So I'm thinking what kind of a suggestion I need. So I think I will make some touches with the darker, thicker pigments, so that it will merge with the background to certain extent, but not fully. Okay, so that kind of a merging will suggest that there are some faraway trees, some vegetations, etc. Okay, it will be little interesting. It may not be very flat. Okay, this looks reasonably good to me. Some kind of spreading. See, the underlying area is now wet. Okay, because it is not fully dry. So if you make some touches here and there, so it will softly merge with the background. And let us splatter some slightly opaque colors. So I have mixed a little bit of lavender or blue kind of color and little bit of Chinese white, so that it's little opaque, and making some touches here and there, so that it will merge with the background and it will create some texture. Okay, so these are all kind of experimentations I do. Try to do these kind of experimentation, and then you will learn how the things behave. Okay, it works better when the paper is somewhere in between dry and wet. Okay, so maybe when the paper is damp. So here I am suggesting the land area, and I have mixed little bit of burnt sienna and yellow ochre sort of a color. It is very muddy sort of color, muddy sort of palm color. Okay, it doesn't look very nice at this point, so I am expecting that once we do rest of the things, it may look interesting. And let us now add little bit of greenish, warm greenish color to this. So I am adding raw sienna or yellow ochre and little bit of olive green. Okay, for the greens, as of now, I have used olive green, and all the colors that I have taken as of now are from Camel brand. Okay, except little bit of lavender I took from the Aquatone brand, which again is an Indian brand. But you don't have to worry precisely about the colors and pigments. Okay, so any nearby colors that is available in your palette can be sufficient. Okay, here mainly we are trying to go for a very casual and bold kind of an approach. So you should be focusing on the approach. Be fearless. It is just a practice. So be bold and look at the paper and see what is happening on the paper. Okay, how the shapes are getting formed on the paper, and accordingly you take the next action. That is what I am doing here. Okay, let me take little bit more darker colors, olive green and little bit of burnt sienna, and let us create some more darker tones near the foreground area. Okay, so you can see some patches of dark and light colors here. So I think when it dries, it will get subsided little bit. These tonal variations, okay, they will suggest some subtle forms of maybe some bushes or something in the foreground. Okay, see, the land area shouldn't look very flat, so that is the reason I am using all these darker brushworks. Okay, So it will be merging with the background to some degree, but it will still have some tonal variations defined. So you will find that once it is dry, you will find that tonal variation in few minutes from now. Let us make this area a little darker. I think we are already getting some sense of distance. This area I was not, it is not looking good to me, so I'm splashing some water first and then splashing some opaque kind of a color so that it will altogether create some texture. The texture will create an illusion that the foreground area is little busy. I think I have splattered water a little bit too much. You could control it. You could reduce it little slightly lesser. You are having a lot of these white patches, white textures at this point. Okay, maybe that could be slightly reduced. If I get a second chance, I will splash a little less water. And here I am using cobalt green color for the right side house, and then the one behind, for the one behind I am using pale orange. Okay, once this green and orange is dry, I am using a paints gray color to create some shadows underneath the roof. Okay, so that they will have some sense of form. The tiles will cast some shadows on the wall, and the walls of these houses I am leaving it the paper white. Okay, I think these are reasonably good. See, these two houses are much far away from us. It is very small, so you don't need to have precise details. You see the textures now on the bottom left corners are sort of interesting, even though it is little too much, the textures at the bottom left area. Okay, so I could have reduced it a little bit. Some darker tones at the base of the house. It could be some shadows. Okay, and now let us make these figures. These figures are too tiny, so I have taken, for the smaller shapes, I have taken smaller round brush. So I have taken a synthetic round brush for painting the tiles and the shadows of the house, and for the figures. Here for the dark blackish tone I have used the paints gray, and for the second figure for now I used a little bit of vermilion red and then black. See, the colors for the figures and all are your choice. Usually I take some vibrant colors for the torso, upper body, and for the lower body I usually take dark colors like paints gray or some dark colors. Okay, you could mix some dark colors, some sort of a bluish color. Okay, right, now this looks reasonably good to me. The size is okay, the shadows are tiny shadows. Okay, and some details on the house. Okay, some walls. These are very small touches, so you could be a little careful about this. Okay, it should be suggestive, but it should still be reasonably convincing. So I'm making a tiny figure here also, but now I think this figure, the third figure that we have just added, it is little too big, so I'm converting that into maybe a small tree. This, I'm not happy with this tree because the trunk of the tree is too wide. I'm extending the foliages to slightly below, and maybe, yeah, now I think it is reasonably okay, and we can add some shadows for this. Okay, Now, see, one thing that you have to remember is that all these shadows should be uh, consistent in the same kind of direction. The direction of the shadow and the length of the shadow should be proportional to the object that is creating the shadow in a consistent way. Maybe a smaller figure here. And at this point, I don't want to make too much elements there. This right now I feel it is sufficient. It is sufficient. I don't want to add much more things. And yeah, this much should be good enough. And should we do anything nearby? Shall we add some trees nearby? I'm thinking whether we should add some trees in the foreground. Maybe the textures are little too much on the bottom left portion. Maybe I will add a tree there. Okay. So for the exposed body part, I am using some orange color, and that is taken directly from the tube without diluting it. Some tiny touches of thick orange color. Okay. Some suggestions on the roof. Okay, maybe some suggestion here also. It went too wide, so let me smudge it. Okay. Now about the foreground tree, I am thinking that some of the, see, we have splashed a lot of water, and I feel that it is little bit too much. So I wanted to cover some of those textures in the bottom. So I thought of making some taller trees, and the taller tree also should push everything away so that it will create more distance. That is the idea. So I'm using a long mop brush, a round brush, a smaller one. Okay, it's actually a small mop brush, but you can treat it as a round brush. Okay, round brush with a good tip. So I am using little darker color, very bold sort of an approach, not very precise. And I will be connecting these foliages to the area where we have the textures. Okay. The idea is that this tree should push rest of the things far away. The houses should really look a little far behind after the tree. So that is what I am hoping to do. Some tiny branches. Okay, it is not very old or thick tree. It's a small tree actually. It is tall because it is near to us. Okay, I think this much is sufficient. I don't need too much of details for the tree. This is a casual approach. Okay, so I'm not worried about the precise shape of the foliages. I'm just making creating some contrast. Okay. Very casual way of doing it. It could be done a lot better, but that is not the approach that we are going to discuss here. I like suggesting all these elements in this way. I don't enjoy the process of making it more and more realistic. Now some splattering of the same dark green color. Dark green is created by mixing olive green and little bit of Payne's grey, or you can use blue also. And some of these splatters could be taken as some bushes. Okay, the bush also has some sort of leaves, foliages, etc. Little bit, and we have to then create the shadows. Okay, that is the approach. See, if you think these videos are helping you and you are finding some value in it, please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification. And if you have any questions or suggestions, feedback, please do write them into the comment box below. And if you think this can help your artist friend, please do share this to your artist friends. so that they also can take benefit of these videos. See, these videos takes a lot of effort, so your feedback is the fuel for me to create more and more videos. Okay, I'm just merging these shadows. Okay, I don't want these shadows as well defined shapes. These are just some dark tones, some suggestion for the shadows. Okay, see, now I am trying to add one more figure in the nearby area. The color is cobalt green, and the for the lower body I am using Payne's gray color. Okay, I think the height of the figure is okay. He's facing that side, means he is walking towards the house. Okay, that will actually take the viewer's eye to the houses. This figure will help in taking the viewer's attention towards the house, because this figure will grab some attention of the viewer, and since he is going towards the distance, the viewer also will be taken towards the distance, and they will enjoy the sense of distance. Now I have done some highlights with pure white. This is pure Chinese white watercolors, directly picked from the tube, and I have used a liner brush for this. Okay, so I think we are almost done. Some tiny touches here and there. Okay, maybe some touches here and there, some tiny contrast. Okay, not too much details. So if you are not if you don't want to use white with watercolors, because there is a convention of not using white with watercolors, you can stay away from this step. Okay, so I hope this can be treated as done. I have already signed it, and probably we can finish it now. As I told, if you have any questions or suggestions, and please do write them in the comment box below. I'll be more than happy to go through all your comments and give responses, feedback. And if you have any suggestion for my future tutorials, please do let me know. I will try to take your suggestions for the future videos. And now let us take the tape out, and let us declare that this painting is done. Overall, I am pretty happy with this loose, quick work, and thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like it, please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification. Please do share this to your artist friends, and please do give your feedback. I'll be waiting for your feedbacks, and your comments are the motivation for me to create more and more tutorials going forward. So see you soon with more interesting tutorials like this, and wish you all happy painting. Thank you very much. Bye bye.